Do you remember this diagram from lesson 1? The adapter has a reference to the raw data, and it has instructions on how to build each list item layout. These layouts eventually make it into the list view here. But what happens if any of this data changes? Let's say, for example, there's a fourth contact named Dawn. The adapter knows how to create a list item layout for Dawn. But now the list view is outdated because it only has 3 items. Somehow, we need the adapter to notify the list view that things have changed. And lucky for us, there's a method called adapter.notifyDatasetChanged. This notifies any attached observers, like this one, that the underlying adapter data has changed. Then the list view needs to populate its children again. So it asks the adapter how many items there are, and the adapter responds with 4. Then the list view goes and fetches each one individually until it fills up the screen. And it's through that method that the list view is able to get all its list items. But now you must be thinking, how did we actually update the list view successfully without adding this line of code in our app? Well, with ArrayAdapter, whenever you add or remove elements from it, it internally calls notifyDatasetChanged. That means we don't have to do anything. But how can we confirm this? Well, we can check the actual implementation of the ArrayAdapter class in the framework. And here's the code for the ArrayAdapter class within the Android framework. You can follow along with the link below. First, we're going to search for the add method. Remember, we added forecast strings to the adapter using this method. And sure enough, we see that the notifyDatasetChanged method is called internally. But you might be thinking, what about this Boolean here? Well, let's look it up. If you scroll to the top, you see that notifyOnChange is declared as true initially. As you go through the other references, you see that it's only changed here in this setNotifyOnChange method. Since we don't call this public method with the value false, then we know that we're going to be safely notified each time the adapter updates. Now let's go back to the add method. I want to show you one more thing. You'll notice that in the addAll method, it only notifies its observers once, whereas in the add method, every time you call this, it will update its observers. That means that our code actually is refreshing the list every time. So if you're targeting honeycomb or above, you can use this method to be a little more efficient. In general, don't be afraid to try to do this on your own. As a general pro tip, if you're ever unsure about something, feel free to go and check the Android source code. Don't treat the framework code like a black box. Take advantage of the fact that Android is open source. The more you learn about the platform, the better of an Android developer you can become.